Hello, you're welcome to Further Together, enriching relationships, creating a better future. We are back again. I know we were in and we didn't know whether we were in or not. We want to take this opportunity to welcome you. If you're joining us for the first time, we want to say thank you so much for joining us and welcome. If you are a regular, we would like to appreciate you, knowing that you are the one who make us go further. And, we really appreciate you joining us.
Guys, do kindly do us a favor and share this broadcast. We had people joining on the other live broadcast, but due to technical issues, we weren't able to stay on the broadcast. So do kindly do us a favor by sharing this broadcast. Tonight's going to be good, and we apologize for starting late.
Yes, we are tonight speaking on a very topic which is very close to our hearts. Stop giving your loved ones leftovers. And this topic, we are not just coming to bash you, but it is one where we ourselves were evaluating what we have been doing and how we have been doing with our loved ones. And we discovered that sometimes we get so much busy so that we end up giving each other leftovers without knowing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we were sharing on our own personal experiences and different moments where both of us have been dishing out leftovers. And this topic applies to not just marital relationships, but, parent to children relationships. And I was remembering a moment when my daughter was literally asking, like, "Mommy, are you busy today?" And I was saying to her, why would my daughter ask me that question? Like, "Mommy, are you busy today?" And I asked her, like, "Why, Vicky?" And then she was telling me that, because I want us to do A, B, C, D, and E. And it really hit me so hard because I then realized that I was not giving enough. I was just dishing out the leftovers and I was not giving enough to my children. And I also remember a moment when you actually set me down and you shared with me that you felt neglected. And what that communicated to me was that I was giving you the leftovers. I was not being there when you needed me. So this is a topic that is dear to our hearts, that time and time again, we stop ourselves and we ask each other, are we giving our best or are we giving just the leftovers?
And this topic is not only applicable to marriages, but it's also applicable to our relationship with our family and friends, a relationship with those. Anyone who's close to us, our parents. For example, my mom is a widow now. My father went to be with the Lord for about a year or so ago, and it's only me and my brothers are the only men who are surrounding her. So sometimes I ask myself, am I giving her enough attention that I should? Or I'm getting into the business of life and I become so busy and, she becomes a last priority, my mother, for God's sake.
Yep. And you know what? The leftovers we're talking about tonight are not those kind that you keep in the fridge. You cook up a meal and then you leave your leftovers in the fridge for another day. Sometimes be the next day. Sometimes you leave it for like 2 or 3 days. So these are not the kind of leftovers that we are talking about this evening. But we're basically touching on relationship leftovers. When you've done all you can, when you've given all to be it, your career, you've been to work, you've given your all to your career, you've given your all sometimes to community, to the people around you. Sometimes as spouses, people know us to be good people out there. Like, we are so good to our community and we are so good to our, colleagues. We are so good giving in time to our careers. But what we are talking about tonight is you've given your best, you've given your attention to all those things that demands it. And when it comes to the people that should be getting it, your loved ones, your husband, your wife, your children, we are like, I can't give in. I have no more to give because I've given a lot to the other demands.
So we are like a chewing gum that, all the sweetness has been sipped, it has been chewed by our work, by the gym and other things. Then when we come back, we are giving the leftovers to our loved ones. We are giving the leftovers to our children. We are giving the leftovers to our old parents, our old aging parents. I mean, because the issue, the business of life have taken everything. Sister Rams, how are you? Philemon Gabriel, how are you? Mr. Kutsirai, Patience Nembire, how are you? The story of your life. I really and truly, Gogo Nembire is and other people down there, they'll be there waiting for you, and you are busy. I mean, for the patients, you are a nurse, we know a hospital demands you, but you also need to give some to your
And now
sisters.
the thing is, there's so many things, like we are living in a day and age where so many things are competing with our time, for our attention and for our time. I, for one, I'm into fitness, and I'm giving so much into my gym. And sometimes Kuzi is like, can you cut down a little bit? So we may just end up, giving so much energy, giving so much time to those other things. And when you get home, I'm coming from the gym, I'm so exhausted.
Yes. But
and
even when the children and they come to say, Mom, you're welcome, say, oh, please don't touch me there, I'm tired.
Sometimes I'm literally saying my arms are aching. And by the way, I work at a school in a special provision, and I work with challenging children. And sometimes you give so much energy, so much strength to those children,
and attention,
yes. Because if a child comes and tells you, Miss, can you watch while I'm doing this? You pay 100% attention. And then now coming home, my children are coming to me, Mommy, I want to dance for you. And in that moment, I feel so exhausted because I've given my all to my job. And the problem is, we then don't get enough time with those children. And hence, some of them are being taken over by the world because we are not giving enough.
And there's this statement which I like so much. It says, if we keep on giving our loved ones leftovers, they will go somewhere to find proper food. If we keep on giving our loved ones leftovers, they will go somewhere to find proper food. So we have a son who is a teenager, and if we keep on giving him leftovers, somebody somewhere will take him, will doctrinate him, and will give him what he thinks is proper food, because there he is getting the attention. If I don't give my wife real food and I keep on feeding her leftovers, she will come to a point where she will look for somewhere to get fresh, proper food. And this is a dilemma. I have seen that pastors and those who are working in the ministry, hear me. Pastors and those who are working in the ministry, they are busy counseling other people. Why? Because this person and the wife, they are not in good books. So you spend much of your time, you are helping another man's wife, you're helping another man's wife, and yet your wife is lonely. So by the time you finish, you find out that you have sorted out other people's relationships. Their relationships are now strong, and yet your one, you have lost it. We have people who are working in youth justice. You spend 20 hours working in youth justice with young people, rehabilitating them, and yet your child is at home, needs you. So by the time you finish with the youth justice, you go back home, you will discover that your child now will be the one who is being taken over by the justice. Why? Because you have failed to look after them, have abandoned them.
And babe, I like what you mentioned the other time, that you were speaking about Black Lives Matter, and you were sharing that, I can't go out there and shout that Black Lives Matter when I have Black lives in my house that I'm not giving time to.
I'm not concentrating on them.
You're not concentrating on them, and you're shouting, you're putting up the placards, Black Lives Matter. We have lives, we have Black lives in our houses that needs our time, that needs the proper food, which is not just the leftovers. And now we mentioned that this is something that is dear to our hearts, because many times we find ourselves falling short. Either we're not giving enough to our spouses, to our children, and we have to get these constant callbacks, like Mommy, you've been so busy, like Mommy, listen to me. So this is an area that we are quite passionate about, that this is the most, researchers say this is the most important horizontal relationship.
Yes. family marriage is the most important horizontal relationship. However, research shows that more than 72% of churches do not have marriage ministry in their church. More than 72% of churches do not have marriage ministries in their churches. So how do we deal with it? How do we solve it? You know, we yes, we love Jesus, but I remember, you know, the Bible says, how can you say you love God whom you have not seen when you do not love your brother whom you are living with? So if my big brother Babali, if I'm not showing him good love, for me to stand on the pulpit and say I love Jesus, I'm just a liar. I'm doing drama. Yes, I'm a clown. I'm just acting, because first love should be love to patients. My cousin, my nephew's wife who is there. So if I don't show her love and I'm standing and I'm saying I love God, she should be the person who stand and say, you know what, my brother, you are a liar because you don't love me. You have never shown me love. How can you love God whom you have not seen?
You're just hitting the nail on the head right there. You cannot love God that you've not seen if you cannot love your neighbor, and if you cannot love your wife, if you cannot love your husband, somebody that is so close to you. And you know, we understand that there are seasons in marriage where life kind of just happens and you don't even realize what is happening.
Or you have a project that you're working on. So you're saying, I'm going to be working extremely hard for this season because we have a project.
But in that, you know, we still advise prioritizing your relationship and finding time, you know, being intentional about it, because everybody has 24 hours in a day and you're not going to get even more. No matter how much busy you think you are, you're not going to get any more than that.
They say if you squeeze hard, you get 25 hours in a day.
It is what it is. It is 24, and it's about what you do in that moment. Because one thing that we have realized is that sometimes you're chasing a project. You want to buy a house and you neglect all else. You neglect your family. And at the end of it all, you might just get your mortgage, you might get your house, but then lose the very people that are at the core of your life. And we've seen a lot of people that have risen to the top. Businesses are blooming, and just at that peak of the business blooming, then you hear that they're divorced. And it's not rocket science there. Many of times it's because they were serving leftovers. They were dishing the worst of their time, the worst of what they could offer.
Which is a dilemma that we face, especially for men, because as men we have this dilemma. We want to provide. We are trapped in between providing things as well as giving quality time. We have quality time that they need, and also they need certain things, you know, material. So we are just pushed right there, struggling to know, should I be with them or should I go to work and provide the material things? And their balance is needed, and their prioritizing needs to be known.
And you know, you talk a lot about the story of Mary.
Luke chapter, Luke chapter 10 from verse number 40. If you can read for us, please.
I don't have it.
Luke
at
chapter
hand.
10, verse number 40. It's I'm sorry, we're gonna go, you know, slightly in the book so that we see some of these things where they emanate from. Verse number 40. Yes. It says, verse number 40. This is a story when Jesus visited Mary and Martha.
It says that, but Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to come and help me. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her.
So Jesus visited in this house, and Jesus sat down and he's speaking. And Mary sat down at the feet of Jesus, and she's gleaning, and Jesus is sharing passionately. But Martha was so busy with the business of, I want to serve him. I want to serve him chicken. I want to serve him soup. I want a 3-course meal. And now Martha looked and she saw Mary is reluctant. She is chilling.
She is enjoying the presence.
And Martha is full in activity. And, she said then to Christ, oh, look here, Master. My sister is there sitting. Can you tell her to come and help me? I'm struggling by myself here. Then Jesus looked at them and said, Martha, Martha, you are troubled by so many things.
Yes.
But Mary have chosen the best thing. So sometimes we get so much troubled by so many things. We want to do this, we want to do that for that, we want to do that for that, we want to do that for that. And yet the best thing, the good thing, we leave it. And we are crying to say, my family should know I'm a busy man. Busy doing what?
My family should know I'm going all out to provide for them.
My wife should understand. My mother should understand. Amir will not understand. She wants me to call her. She needs that call. Why? Because she's my mom.
Yes. So Martha chose activity. She chose, to be productive in her own way. And yet Mary chose relationships. And this is what we are saying tonight, that, stop giving those leftovers. Stop getting busy with so many things and then dishing out the leftovers.
So what we're going to share with you some few nuggets where we feel people are saving leftovers. And nugget number one is leftover time. That, in time we save everybody. We wake up in the morning, we have 24 hours, we do everything. We save our bosses, we save our friends, we save social media, Mark Zuckerberg and all the Twitter and everybody. When we are done, then the leftover time, that's when we want to sit down with our children and say, please tell me what you wanted to say quickly and go and sleep. And before they finish it, it's time to sleep, go and sleep. Then you go to your wife again, you say, what? If it is you need to have intimacy, let's just have it quickly so that you sleep too, because tomorrow we need to be busy. So how are you doing with your time? Are you not saving leftovers to your family? Are you not saving leftovers to your children, to your spouse?
And right there, one of the things that we are having to do for ourselves is to intentionally have those date days or date nights, because so many things are getting in the way, and we just might not get that time of checking in on each other. And planning those date nights, protecting them and prioritizing them is one good way of making sure that you're not serving the leftovers. We are intentionally saying we are, like last week we didn't go out. You don't have to go out, to a restaurant. We stayed in.
Yes, we just said these next 2 hours, this block is ours. We switch off the phones. It's just you and me. Let's sit down and relax. Let's talk. Let's have one, heart to heart. Then we are having our heart to heart here inside our sitting room.
So the issue of leftover time is something that we are saying, let's stop doing it, be to our children. And one thing with children is that they don't speak in a rush. Sometimes you just want your children, like, hurry up, just tell me what happened in school. You then find that a lot is happening. Children are being abused, but because we don't have enough time, to give them the moment to share what's happening inside, then we realize that so much is going on without us aware. So stop serving that leftover time, that after all has been said and done, I'm tired, then I will just give you what's remaining.
So time is very important, and we need to prioritize our time with our loved ones. We need to plan that we are going to have this time with them, and we also need to protect that time that we have set aside. So if I'm saying when my children come from school, the next 30 minutes is for them, then I have to prioritize it. I have to protect it. That no matter what comes our way, phone calls will come. They are urgent but not important. I'm not a fire brigade. I'm not a policeman. I'm not army. So there's no phone call that I will say, if I miss this, someone will die. Death. I don't control anything that has to do with life. So the people who are in here, I'll give them my time, and then I'll go back to the phones. Anyone whom I missed, I'll call them back.
And speaking on that same note, we always advise on doing things gradually. If it's not something that you've been doing, Don't start by scheduling an hour. Don't start by scheduling, 45 minutes. We started off with 5 minutes, saying I'm going to have 5 minutes with each child on every single day.
Yep.
Just 5 minutes of being intentional and checking in on them. That, and then you can always increase it with time.
Yep.
So be it with your spouse, start off with just 5 minutes of uninterrupted time where you are just checking in on them, getting to know them even better.
Yeah. That's true. So gradual increase.
So the first one is leftover time. The second one is emotional leftovers.
Yes, go on, babe.
So emotional leftovers is what I would classify as, neglect, or what you mentioned to me the other time. And you say to me, I feel neglected. So this is a time when you are not emotionally available. You don't want to care about how your spouse or your children are feeling. And this one can be, I think, worse if you're coming from a childhood experience whereby your own emotions were neglected. Like somebody like myself, sometimes you'd be told, oh, just ignore it. You're crying, you want to cry, and then you're told, you know what, you're a man, toughen up, So your emotions were not validated. They didn't care so much about your emotions. So you might just find out that emotionally, you're not available for your spouse. When they need help, you're not available. When they need support, you're not available.
That's very true.
So you can then be married but lonely because your spouse...
And Miles Monroe makes us to understand that there is nothing as difficult than being married and lonely.
Yeah.
It is quite acceptable to be single and lonely, but being married and lonely is one of the most painful things in life. The other issue is appreciation, emotional neglect or emotional leftovers. That there are some people who are good at appreciating everybody, and they don't sit down to appreciate their spouse. They don't sit down to appreciate their loved ones. You don't sit down to appreciate your mom for the little that they did for you. Yes, you did not go to the best school, but the fact that you went to school whilst others didn't go, it's something that warrants you to appreciate them, to support them emotionally.
And that goes on with compliments, or sometimes it could be the choice of words that we use, to our loved ones. We hear this so many times that, you know what, Kudzi's a nice guy. Like, he's a really nice guy. He's so nice out there, and in the house, it's totally different. He's using all the bad language in the world on me, or I'm using it on you. And when you're out there, you're this saint, and people are looking at you and they're like, wow, this is a man of God. But are you a man of God or woman of God that your spouse can testify to? So we are saying that emotionally be available. Use words that will build your spouse up emotionally.
Use words that will build your children up. Use words that will also make your other family members feel loved. And by this, we are not just ending in marriage. We have parents, we have brothers, we have siblings. Let them feel the love from us.
And we go on to the next one, which is leftover gifts.
Have you ever noticed that when now we are getting towards festive season, and when Christmas comes, we run to buy special gifts for most of the people? Then finally, when we still have change, then you remember that I didn't buy Priscilla anything. And if I encounter something that is on sale, on offer, that has been reduced, then I'll buy it for her. Why? I had to buy my pastor this expensive one. I had to buy my boss this expensive Gucci belt. And yet for her, she gets the leftover. That's if there's change. Same applies to our children. When in some places they do this Secret Santa. When you go for Secret Santa, you pick somebody's child, you go and buy most expensive trainers for that child. And then after that, you pass through Asda or the 1 pound shop. Then you pick up 10 different gifts for a child so that there will be plenty under the Christmas tree. We are not doing justice to ourselves. We are not doing justice to those who are around us. We are saving them leftovers. Leftovers to the extent that when it's my birthday, you wake up the next morning, you say, I totally forgot. And yet, for the past 2 weeks, you have been telling me that, oh, it's our pastor's birthday next month. Oh, it's our pastor's birthday. So you don't forget your pastor's birthday. But your husband's birthday doesn't matter. Your child's birthday doesn't matter. Sense, let's be sincere. Let's be real. Let's be good people. To those whom we love, to those who matter to us. Not saying that papas and pastors, they do not matter.
They matter.
But let's also, those who are around us, close to us, let's also share the love.
And the worst that we have seen is buying something that you know that your spouse is not going to use.
Yes, and
they don't like it.
Yes.
You know they're not going to use it. But because maybe you find it on sale,
cheaper.
You find it cheap, yes. And then you just have, and the fact that you just have to wrap something.
Yes.
Sometimes it's better, just don't even wrap anything.
My Nigerian brothers will say to fulfill all righteousness.
To fulfill righteousness.
No, please, don't fulfill righteousness that way. And
if I'm not a candle person, don't go and buy me candles.
Definitely.
If I'm not a flowers person,
no matter how,
and you know clearly that I'm not a flowers person, don't go and buy it.
Most cases they are gifts of convenience. It's not, I don't want to go all the way, so I'm looking for something that is just convenient,
so at least I can
to
just
quickly cover it. Yes,
something.
I can't just appear empty-handed, which is very wrong.
So what we're saying is be intentional. Even when it comes to those gifts, don't give leftover gifts. And the final one for tonight is physical leftovers.
Energy. Power. Physical intimacy is one pillar that we always speak of when we are speaking about those 6 or 7 pillars of intimacy. You know.
Hold on, please. Coach Pommy is asking, do people really do that to their spouses? Buying them what they don't like? Oh yes,
definitely.
Yes,
we have encountered that a lot of times, that somebody will come and say, but she knows that I don't like this, and yet she brought this to me. And the greatest is if you don't really like it, you can give it to someone else.
And sometimes they're just buying because they found it cheap.
Yes.
Not even because they know you're not gonna like
but
it.
It's convenience.
Yeah.
It's convenience. You find something that is just closer and you do that. Physical leftovers is a situation whereby you go to work, you do whatever you do. If you are like Priscilla, you come home, you go to the gym, you do whatever you do. You do all the gym, and you're on the bike, and everybody's celebrating you, Priscilla, on the bike. You come home.
And you say,
yes, you come home. At least I go to the bedroom. I'm waiting for you. Then you take the hoover. You start to hoover everywhere, including the storages that we have closed for a longer time. Then you come to the bedroom and you say, babe, you know, I'm very tired. I would have loved to. I would have loved to give you more, but
let's just do a quick.
That's if we are. But you know, babe, tomorrow I'm waking up early. So can we save this? Now the problem is not can we save this, but can we save it for when? Because it's a continuous thing. It's different from can we save it for the weekend? It has become a pattern. Can we just leave it here? Then we leave it. And a lot of people are sexually deprived.
Oh, blessing says Ipapo, my brother. Right there, go deeper, Papa.
A lot of people are sexually deprived. Why? Because we are physically giving our energy to so many things. Then when we come home, we are drained. We do not have energy to serve those whom we love. We do not have energy. Even when I open the door to just come and give me a hug, you are tired. It will be as if those funeral hugs where you see when somebody have appeared on your funeral. They say, "Oh, you have come. You know what shall we do here?" No.
And right there, that way you start hearing all this, or my head, my shoulders. And on a particular day, I actually went and I gave my all to the gym. I went and I did some upper body workout.
Tell them.
And I hadn't done, this kind of upper body workouts where you're lifting weights and all the stuff. And by the time I got home, I was having pain on my shoulder. And then I'm like, babe, please,
can you come and massage me? So your work, the gym, friends, and everybody is the ones you give the energy.
And then you massage me.
Me to massage. That's when I'll say, you know what, babe? Let the gym massage you for now.
But you still massage.
Yes, I did, but it's not. Was it the best thing?
No.
Yeah, so let's be sincere when they're talking. It's not the best thing. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll do it because of love, but because I'm doing it out of love, you also have to show me love. Then tomorrow, know that what I have done is not the right thing.
Overdo it.
And this is what Jesus is saying to Mother, that yes, you have chosen activity, but Mary have chosen the right thing.
And are we saying that all these things are not important?
They're important.
All these things are important.
They're important, but we also have to know the limits. So they have to be a priority, prioritizing.
Yeah.
They have to be intentionality. What do I do this day? If we know that there's a program, let's know that there's a program. We know that on Saturday is family day. Sunday for us, it's family dinner. Everybody is sitting on the table. So we may not sit on the table together Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we know that on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday, we are on the dining table.
And this whole thing is about time and intentionality, being intentional about, the time that you're spending with your loved ones.
Yeah.
And you know what, like we mentioned earlier, you're not going to get more time than what you have right now, but it's all about putting your relationship as a priority, prioritizing the time that I spend with my spouse, the time I spend with my children. And that is what it is all about.
Yes.
You have chosen the best, but the other one is prioritizing their relationship with their loved ones.
Yes, to prioritize blowjob.
Yeah.
Prioritize blowjob. But this is what I'm going to do. It's on my priority list. No, yes, if we are going to save each other, let it be a priority.
To put it on the list for tonight.
Yes,
put it on the list for tonight. Okay, Coach Pom says, I dealt with one like that. A couple married for 31 years and husband is starved sexually. So painful.
It's
this
not
is
a priority
really painful. And I think it really hurts, especially when you realize that there is time, but I'm just not the priority. My wife is doing so much. They're spending their time, if you're like Priscilla, they're spending their time at work and then they're getting to the gym. And I'm just not a part of their priority.
Yes.
And guess what? Everybody in this world, they love to be prioritized. They love to be valued. They love to know that they are loved, they are needed, and they're desired. And when you don't get that and you realize you're being starved, that's like one of the most painful things I can ever imagine.
Yeah, sooner or later we'll see weeds taking over the garden. Why? Because we are not doing what we are supposed to do. And I like the Bible in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. It says there is time for everything. There is time for everything. There's time to go to work. There's time to come home. There's time to watch television. There's time to sit down with families. Television off, everything off. It's your time, babe. So let's put time for the things that we have. Let's put time for those who are around us. Let them know that I have time for you. You know what, Taliwa, son, I know you're coming from school. I have time for you. 4:30 is our time. We'll be sitting together discussing.
And this, guys, we're saying this is not an easy thing to do, but it takes intentionality. Put it down, schedule the time, plan for it, and get it done. Let's not dish out the leftovers. Let's give the best of ourselves to the people that matters most. And I like a statement that says that no one has ever said on their deathbed, I wish I had spent more time at work. I wish I had spent more time with friends. It's always, I wish I had spent more time with my loved ones. So we have our loved ones. God's given us more time with them. Let's spend that quality time with them, and let's not dish the leftovers.
Yes, I remember Bishop Ngwiza once said to me, young men, in helping other people build their marriages, don't be don't over prioritize helping other people, neglecting your own marriage. In other words, there are some who are passionate about certain things out there. Probably it's you are passionate about breaking, you are passionate about, if you are not careful, passion will kill you. Passion will kill your relationship. Passion will make you become
be left with
bitter.
With your passion. And
and at the end of it, you become bitter and you say, it is this church. I have seen pastors who are standing and they're cursing church members that it's because of this thing that I have lost my family, I have lost my business, I've lost this. Why? Because they gave too much and they did not prioritize the most important things to them. One of the days we received a call and Priscilla called me and said, one of our mentees wanted to sit with us as a matter of agents. I say, is there domestic violence? She says, no. I say, that they, what is it? She said,
are they killing each other?
I said, no. Babe, if they are not killing each other, if there's no domestic violence,
if they've lived in that situation,
they have been in this situation which they have argued for the past 3.5 years,
they will not die.
They can still spend 3 more days. So put them on appointment. For now, it's me and my children. We're going to play football. I can't afford to neglect playing football with Tadiwa and Tanaka just because somebody's feeling hot in there and say, we have to speak now, we have to speak now. You are not fighting. You are not. It's just an argument that I've been having all along. Calm down. I will see you in the next 3 days.
Pastor Stanley Nevera, yes, passion will kill you.
Passion will kill men of God.
And yes, they will not kill each other. Yes, some of them, they are not killing each other, but they are.
If care is not taken, this is where Jesus was saying, you are taking bread that is meant for the children and they're giving it to the dogs. And we have seen many times those who are in ministry of service, ministry of helps, we do that. You spend much of your time giving and giving and giving to others out there. And those who are around you,
they get the worst.
They get the worst.
The crumbs, the leftovers.
Now my question is, how are you doing in your relationship with your old parents? If you have old parents and if you still have parents out there, siblings out there, how is your relationship? What sort of service are you giving them? That silver service, or you're giving leftovers? Your siblings, your brothers, your sisters. Some of us are here in the diaspora. Our brothers and sisters are back home. How are we doing there?
Yeah. And you know what? You're just reminding me of, back home, how sometimes parents would save all the, the beautiful cutlery, the beautiful plates for visitors. When in actual fact, we that are in the house, us children, our fathers, they are being served in those, plastic, used things. And we are saying we are saving these ones for visitors. Gone are those days. Give the best to the people that are dear to you, to the people that you love. If it's a gift, let me give you the best of what I can get. Let me give the best to my children. And we are sharing all this, not for you to feel condemned or to feel like, oh my God, I've missed it. I've failed in life. We all fall short and we keep calling ourselves back. Like, when my daughter is saying, Mommy, you are too busy, I have to keep calling myself back until we get to that stage where we are giving the best to the things that matters most.
Audrey saying too many mothers out there. Be like Mary. To be fair, sometimes, we go to church, we worship, and after that, sometimes our children just wants to come and hug us and it'll be, no, I'm speaking to elder. No, I'm speaking to this man of God. You go there. But we have finished church already. Dad, I was playing in the playground and I fell. It's just have a look at me and say, oh son, what do you want here? Then you continue with the elder. But service is too much in our hearts that we want to serve and be good to others at the expense of our marriage. I have said to myself, Iris, that boy needs you. That boy needs you. Needs your
especially time. You. When I call you, you are there for me. So you have to be there for that boy. Yes. But
it's we do not want a situation whereby when eulogy is being said on your death, people will be saying good about you, and your children and your loved ones, they'll be surprised. Is that Is that the dad we
that
know?
I know.
No, my dad is not like that. My dad didn't have time. My dad didn't have this. My dad couldn't give money. My dad couldn't help. My dad have never come to my school. And yet you were everywhere doing follow-up on everybody who didn't come to church, on everybody who was in hospital. And yet when your child wasn't feeling well, you left them lying down on the sofa, rushing to another man's children.
Rushing to church, yeah.
Oh, rushing to church.
Guys, this is deep. Like we mentioned, it's a topic that is so dear to us. It's an area that we're saying, God help us. Like, God help us. You know, Sis Iris, you're not the only one. We all have busy schedules.
I'm also part of this.
You know,
this is how we came up with this topic, because we're evaluating ourselves and we're saying, how are we doing with this? Are we giving our children the best? Are we giving? Am I giving Priscilla the best? I tried to speak to I called my mom last night. I tried to call her. We didn't go through. I tried today. We were not hearing each other. And I was saying, you know what? When it comes to phoning, I'm not good at that.
No, I have to call, and then I'll say,
pass it to me.
Phone.
But is that the best? Suppose God have taken that old woman and she's lying in the coffin and I'm looking at her. Will I be saying, go well, soldier, I have given you all that you deserve? If not, ladies and gentlemen, let's do something.
This is not for condemnation, but for
I'm not saying this to condemn
action.
You. Neither am I condemning myself. But I'm just going back to the words in the book of Revelation, which Bishop Ngwiza shared with us, that you know what? Repent. Remember, repent, and go and rebuild. So now it's time for us. We have remembered all these things. We are seeing that we are writing all that. Now it's time for us to repent. What can we do? Put things into perspective. Then we start to rebuild that relationship that we haven't been building for a long time. What more shall we say? Apart from saying thank you so much for giving us your precious possession, which is your time permitting, God willing. We'll meet again next week, same time. We do want to apologize for the inconvenience. We couldn't start on time. We are sending you to your loved ones, and the question still remains: how are you doing with dishing food to your loved ones, to that elderly mom, to your brothers, to those around you?
Stop serving
the leftovers. Stop serving leftovers to your loved ones. For me and my beautiful wife, we are signing out. Till we meet again. God bless you. Bye.